What we're doing here is called street epistemology, conversational technique where you talk to your conversation partner collaboratively, meaning together, not against. We don't debate here. So what we're trying to do is trying to be collaborative. We're going to try to explore what you believe and more importantly, how you came to your conclusion and kind of go from there.
Yeah. What's important to you these days, Chase?
Yeah, so I would say a plant-based diet is better for the environment.
Hmm.
Significantly, let's do that. Plant-based diet is significantly better for the environment
And why is that important to you?
because I'm an activist for human rights and animal rights, and the environment is the home that we live on, and we're in a
Hmm.
climate crisis.
If there wasn't a climate crisis and it didn't affect things the way it did, would it still be important?
Well, I mean that's the main reason. That's maybe the only reason that I care about the environment, aside from the like aesthetic look of it and all, you know. But like, uh, yeah, if we weren't in a climate crisis, it would still be a problem though, because if we weren't already in a crisis, we'd be creating a crisis with our behavior, with animal agriculture.
Hmm.
And even if we didn't create a crisis, it's still needless and has negative effects on um, wildlife, you know, biodiversity.
Hmm.
Are those things something we should hold great importance for?
Yeah, I think that those ecosystems, you know, the animals in those ecosystems want to live, and they maintain a balance for again the planet that we're on. That, you know, if like if the bees die, we die.
Hmm.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Is that the only reason that that's important, or are there other reasons that biodiversity is important?
I mean, those two things I think are the things, like the animals who live, those individuals who live in those environments, um, and like their well-being, and the impact that their well-being or lack thereof has on humans
Okay.
through economic or through ecological collapse.
I hear you. So it's like the actual being itself has this value, and the the whole thing as a whole it might collapse. So kind of two separate kind of things.
Yeah, pretty much. And
Okay.
I can like give a quick example. You know, like I'll post in the side chat here, that this is from the University of Michigan. The vegan Beyond Burger creates 90% less greenhouse gas emissions, uses 99% less water, 99 or sorry, 93% less land, and requires 46% less energy than a beef burger. Those are pretty big numbers.
Hmm.
And that's just
Some
one
interesting
study I
stuff there.
have out of like 150.
Hmm. Okay.
I think I may have asked you this a time or two when we talked in the past. But what do you think the average person feels about these kind of issues?
It seems like most people that I talk to about the environment aspect of a plant-based diet, um, they are, I'd say, less defensive than when I talk about animal rights. When I'm talking about the environment, most people are actually pro-environment, um, and they may not be open-minded to going fully plant-based for the environment, but they at least see the value in decreasing their consumption of animal products for the environment once they've been educated, once they've seen the information.
Hmm.
Same with health. Except I think, yeah, some people are decreasing that or eliminating their consumption of animal products for their health or for the environment, or people are going vegan for the animals. I think that um, it's harder to cheat on your diet when it's when it's an ethical right, like when it's an ethical, philosophical, moral against animal cruelty. It's harder for like vegans don't usually cheat on their diet.
Hmm.
But plant-based people who are on a plant-based diet, plant-based eaters, we could call them, who are doing it for their health or for the environment, it's easier to cheat because, if you have a steak once a month, it's not really killing the environment. It's better that you don't, but at least you're not eating a steak every day, kind of thing. So and same with health. You could eat a steak a week or a steak a month and probably not see serious negative health outcomes as opposed to eating meat every day.
Hmm. You've been, and we've had a few conversations on our show, and we've obviously talked uh, for a long time now on different servers and stuff like that. Uh, I'm just going to ask you like a kind of a side question here. I mean, why do you think? What do you think has been the most convincing to people who disagree with you? That, I mean, what have you seen move people a percentage or two?
About the environment or about like the animal rights or the health, like just in general, like when I'm trying to get somebody to adopt a vegan diet, like what is most effective usually? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, in your opinion. Yeah, just your opinion.
Yeah, I mean, most of my time is spent talking about animal rights because it's so under talked about, and people need to like start thinking about that stuff and seeing the footage of slaughterhouses and whatnot. But um, uh, like I said, a lot of people get defensive and angry, unjustifiably, just like I used to make fun of vegans. But now look at me, so people can change. So I have a little bit of hope, but a lot of times people get super irrational and defensive and angry when talking about animal rights. And so, but I do it anyway. That's my main thing. And sometimes I throw in the bonus aspects of it's better for the environment, it's better for your health, that kind of thing. I usually don't lead with those, but I am today as far as the environment is concerned. And some people are, yeah, more receptive to um, these to health and environment arguments, but I don't think that has as much. It doesn't inspire as much conviction in them as does an awakening, a moral awakening to animal rights.
Hmm.
I think I could see that being the case. I could see that could be more like motivating, right? Um, and I think I know why, but I'm curious as to why you think that's the case.
Because I think it it doesn't ask as much, it doesn't demand as much. Like being plant-based or plant-based-ish, where you're still allowed to cheat on your diet because it's not that big of a deal. Like that is easier to accept. And for your health, it's you and your body, so you can regulate it to whatever degree you want. Like, but when it comes to the moral, claims about what we're doing to animals and how they did nothing wrong, and we have no right to abuse the power we hold over these weaker beings just because they're weaker than us. Like we're exploiting them, we're abusing them. This slavery, totally unjustified and should be illegal as soon as possible. Like it's totally unacceptable, and I regret having ever participated. So it's very serious. It's very serious, and we can talk about that another day. Though I want to talk about the environment. Damn it.
Do you feel as though if people were to be more and if they would accept the responsibility for the environment, they'd be more likely to accept responsibility for more of an ethical treatment of animals?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like some people will go plant-based or start eating more plant-based for environmental reasons, and as they're doing, or for health reasons, and as they're doing so, they'll doing research about what to eat, where to eat, how bad it is for the environment, learn the statistics about that stuff. They might stumble across slaughterhouse videos and become a vegan for the animal. So that's nice when that happens. I don't know if that was answering your question.
Yeah, I think it does. Yeah. Chase, we've talked so many times. I'm actually struggling to ask questions that I don't know the answer to, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I hear you.
Um,
Well, you can always do the standard questions of like what's the best argument against my position. I always like that question.
hmm. Well, what's the best argument against your position?
I
This
don't
is
want to
just
force
random,
you to ask a question,
I mean, I'm just throwing that out there. That's just a
It's a
random
good
question.
Random, yeah. Um, let's see. Of the environment, let's see. Um, well, maybe somebody could say something like, "Well, I'm already living child-free, because having kids is really bad for the environment. So having fewer children is like the best thing we can do for the environment. That doesn't mean like we need to have no kids, but having one fewer child is the best thing you can do for the environment. I think the next thing is living car free and living and not flying airplanes. Probably, yeah, it depends on how often you fly airplanes, how often you drive, but those two. And then the fourth one is eat a plant-based diet. Um, so let's see. So get me back on track. I got lost. What was your question? Or But so if somebody were to say, I'm already living child free and I already don't fly anywhere and I already bicycle wherever I go, or I work from home, so I'm not driving much. So don't expect me to do more than anything else for the environment when I'm already doing my part.
Hmm.
And it's like, well, yeah, and so my response to that I think would be there's still more that you could do, and all that, and adopting a plant-based diet is not a hard thing to do, or eating eating less of these products, less animal products, is not a hard thing to do, and it helps immensely, and you have a voice. So I'm not just talking about what people eat, but also what they say to others, because we all have some degree of a platform with social media and with our friend groups and families that we can pass along these scientific studies and show them, hey, look at how bad animal agriculture is for the environment.
I'll tell you, one of the things you mentioned there is really hits me sometimes. It's like the most people are just trying to live their life. They're just trying to get through their day. They're trying to earn their money. They're trying to pay for their things, and they're be with people they care about. And a lot of people feel struggling to do what they're doing. And I think you and I were discussing that video with Red Pill Pete, who was talking about how there's a a certain, I mean, that you can do it affordably, but I think affordability is one thing, but to do something that takes extra care and time and energy, I think it's hard on a lot of people. I think it's there's a lot of causes in the world, and to pick something and commit to it is very difficult for people, because there's a lot of things you can commit to. Like you said, you can commit to um, focusing on emissions. You can focus on violence. You can focus on sustainable agriculture. There's a million ways you could focus. And so, uh, why do
Well,
you
that's
choose veganism as the one that you focus on?
yeah, because it covers so many areas. Like for one, like first and foremost, the victim, like they're being slaughtered en masse and they did nothing wrong, innocent childlike beings. According to the United Nations, we raise, feed, and kill
Yeah,
70 billion land animals. 70 billion. That's 10 times the human population, right? So we got to feed those animals. And so yeah, so the fact that it's so underrepresented, under talked about, and everybody's contributing to this injustice, and this waste of resources and this unhealthy diet, right? And so, which is, you know, causing harm to ourselves and our children and our communities, because we're not raising a red flag when people are eating dangerous foods, and then they get higher rates of cancer and heart disease and type 2 diabetes, which then causes financial constraints on our hospital care system and everything, right? And so if we I understand that people are preoccupied and stuff, but I don't think that's an excuse for causing massive unnecessary suffering and harming our own home. And if we care about our families, then we should make sure that we protect the home they live in, this planet, and the bodies that they have, and not feed them these, you know, dangerous foods, or at
Yeah.
least let them know that they're eating dangerous foods and that they have another option like rice, pasta, fruits, vegetables, seeds, nuts, beans, bread.
I
And the more we
there's a
do
there's a lot of
this
things.
stuff, the more. Yeah, go ahead.
One of the things that I think I tell you often is I do appreciate how passionate you are about this stuff and how much you care about living beings' lives and the people and other creatures. And I mean, it's a huge endeavor to understand all that. Um, and I hope that through these conversations, other people can hear your case, and I hope that people can. I hope that the things you care about hopefully can be translated to more people. I I'm still trying to understand a number of them, but Chase, I do appreciate you. I'm gonna jump up to the next caller at this point. But I hope that you feel as though we were able to dive into your belief a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate it. The last thing I'll just say is that there's a misconception that a vegan diet is more expensive, and it's just not true. Like, there are some vegan foods, like some of the vegan burgers or vegan milks and vegan cheeses, that are a little bit more expensive right now, but that'll change with supply and demand. But again, those vegan staples like rice and pasta and beans and bread and all that stuff is the cheapest stuff at the grocery store, and you can find it at the dollar menu on some restaurants, you know. But accessibility is a problem, and so I think we all need to work together to make these healthier foods more accessible and affordable to everybody. Um, and there you go. And I would just encourage people to watch a movie on Netflix called Cowspiracy. It's about the environmental impact of a plant-based diet. Called Cowspiracy on Netflix.
Right on. Appreciate you,
Right.
Chase.
Right on. We will move on to the next call. Yeah, I appreciate your passion. Now, I just want to kind of reset the room. So what we're doing here is called Street Epistemology. It's a non-confrontational, conversational method where just chat to you about what you believe, and more importantly, how you got there, why you think it's important.